because the idea is to also pull people back into temples. You see, the reason that
Hmm.
today this is an organic problem, Sri Guru. The thing is that it connects to what we said earlier, that a lot of the so-called urban Hindus don't think it's important to go to a temple. It's not definitely made obligatory. It's a very voluntary thing. So the bulk of the people who do go to temples are usually from
That is parenting failure.
parents.
Let me be blunt about it. Parenting failure. Fortunately, I'm seeing amongst the younger people, the parents in their 20s and 30s, they are very interested in bringing their children up dharmically, or maybe those kind of people flock to me so I don't
The
see the
other, yeah.
wokads, yeah, but they are quite interested, which is a difference. This fixation on career and padai and being a good boy and
Going
all
abroad.
those kind of, yeah, I mean, now I don't particularly have any problem with anybody going abroad because that was always the norm in India. It was always the norm in India, so I don't have any problem with that. But I do have a problem that we have outsourced our responsibility. The political leader will take care of us. No, he won't. It is the fault of the gurus, it is the fault of this person, that person. All the work is being done at an individual level, because all of this requires money. If we want to have comprehensive commentaries on the Mahabharata, that takes years of work. The person has to survive while they're doing that, no? And where is that money to come from? The money can come only from the Hindu temple. Only the Hindu temple can set up educational trusts. Only the Hindu temple can set up hospitals. Major reason for conversion is education and
Yeah.
medical bills. So if we can back, if we cannot help our people. We are handicapped in this. So when you say, I also used to feel this, but now I'm beginning to get a little irritated that what is your individual responsibility as a person. I'm beginning to feel that. Why can't you educate yourself? The resources are infinite. You don't even need to get books. You just go on YouTube. Okay, there are idiots on YouTube. There are people. There's one joker called Cyber
Okay.
Zeal. He steals my old videos. Whatever I said in English, he repeats in Hindi.
Seriously?
Seriously. And no matter what anybody tells him, he's completely elephantine hide. He has absolutely no shame in what he's doing. It is pathetically obvious that he has no idea what he's talking about. He can't even pronounce the terms correctly, and he's just become one
So,
sensation. It is a
so
it,
has anyone confronted him about? Does it matter?
Many people have commented, and but like, and there is this other thing, other big thing. Rajiv Malhotra ji has also spoken about it. We have no problems as a people with
Oh yeah,
plagiarism. People steal other people's content and
happily,
pass it off as their
happily.
own. Yeah, and then they say that we are spreading awareness. How will awareness not be spread if you credit the original?
But then how was the ego that?
The
How do you serve the ego, right?
No, and if you look at the verses, the shlokas, it is very clearly mentioned who composed it
Yes.
every time. So this belief that there is no
No,
name
no,
attached and this is egoic, these are all. If it is egoic, why are you putting it under your
absolutely.
name? So these kind of dishonesties are endemic in our
Very true.
culture, and people don't like to be called out on them. People like to be told, oh, you are inheritors of a glorious culture. Perhaps true, but you're doing nothing to be glorious yourself. You're not even maintaining the glories you have inherited. You are not sustaining it in any ways. Do you know that in Sanskrit alone we have 40 million untranslated manuscripts
I know.
even today,
I mean,
just in
yeah,
Sanskrit? Leave the local
regional
regional
languages. Yeah.
languages. That is the largest knowledge production effort in human history, and we have absolute disdain and contempt for it. This is not a healthy society. I'm sorry to say this, but this is not a society that is sustainable. Again, fruits without roots. A society that disdains its roots does not have any fruits in the future. And we are again, the all symptoms are overdetermined. There is no one reason why anybody falls ill. There are multiple reasons why somebody falls ill, and we are a profoundly ill society. We are a profoundly sick society, and this cannot continue. But fortunately, awakening is happening. It's not
It's
so
not,
bad
yeah,
as it used to be.
but like you said, it
Yeah,
needs to gather momentum and quickly.
that's like a snowball effect. No, there is a point at which the snowball becomes like a big boulder, and then it becomes an avalanche. So there is a tipping point which is not being reached, because please understand that tamas has been the defining characteristic for 400, 500 years. And during this global pandemic, I realized one more thing, that the defining characteristic of our people is
It
abhinivesha,
what?
clinging to life. Abhinivesha is a yogic concept, one of the barriers to enlightenment. And it is a fear of death. It is a fear of, it is not only a fear of death. Swami Vivekananda famously defined it as an indecent clinging to life. So I realized that a defining characteristic of our people is not yoga and things like that. It is abhinivesha. So that was a big shock to me. What is this level of fear of something inevitable is not a healthy.
It's not a healthy.
It's not a healthy. Yeah, it's not a healthy way to live. So yeah, I mean, lack of awareness is unbelievable, and it is more ironic because we invented Atma Vichara, and
No one spends any time on it. No, no, it's a big problem. And it's a
it's
problem even among the so-called, I'm sorry to say this, but I also find it a problem among the so-called spiritually inclined. I find that at some point the ego takes over, and then I think
yes,
the original motivation or the original intent is somewhere lost. And I think this is a problem among Indians who perceive themselves as being spiritually elevated, or ordinary people. I'm not even talking about the gurus. I mean, even among family members, I see there are a lot of people. You know how in the South everybody is into listening to this thing, pravarchanas and all of that. Yeah,
self-congratulation. We have an immense amount of
but there's so little
self-congratulation, and
self-awareness.
these are all
It's very sad.
these are all symptoms of a very ancient society. You see, these are all signs of old age. So we need a rejuvenation.
So
I accept that, and we have another problem, which is a very big problem, that we don't really trust our gods. Our gods, our devtas, are not primary for us. One of the disastrous cultural norms that we developed is Vyakti Puja, where we started prioritizing savior
leaders.
figures. Yeah. No, not just leaders, saviors in any field. Vyakti Puja has become one of the banes, one of the great curses of, you must never ever make a human being, no matter how great, more important than the devas. And we have done that repeatedly. And then there is ego investment. If a person has been useful to you for some time, you don't see them through to the end. Now when they have turned rancid or they have turned dangerous, you don't keep, because of your ego investment. Sunk cost fallacy hai wo, that I have been with this person for
So
20 years, now how can I turn? Now, is the person of any benefit to Hindu society, Hindu Samaj at all? We have all these arguments about there is no alternative, this, that, and the other. And my answer to that is, if your limb turns gangrenous, you don't say that it is better to have a gangrenous limb than no limb at all. You cut it off. You
yes.
cut it off, then you see
Now
now
what
what
can I do?
options
How
do I
can I live
have.
without a
Yeah, otherwise the thing will poison your body completely. Yeah, and so again, this lack of clarity in thought, this lack of uh, self reflection, self awareness. स्वयंबोध तो जीरो से भी कम है. I don't know what the स्वयंबोध का तो कुछ भी नहीं है, but this व्यक्ति पूजा is
big
definitely a
issue?
big issue. It is a massive issue, and it is across all domains. It is not a political issue or a spiritual issue. In the spiritual and the political issue, of course, it causes the maximum damage. Then we hear scandals. Like somebody has been elevated into some godlike stature and then they turn out to be human after all. If you understood they were human right from the beginning, I have okay, this is humble bragging, but I'll say it. I have told my disciples, I have given them an order that if a point comes when I have obviously become senile and I'm no longer making sense, you are all free to oppose me. You are all free to leave me. Yeah. I have given that in advance because it is the body. You cannot say what will happen to the body. It might decay, it might become, so like I might be the only guru in human history to have given that adesh to my disciples, that you have to leave me when you see I've become gaga.
Oh my.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.